Hello everyone. A student from Moi University, identified as David Mokaya, in the court papers, is now demanding a monetary compensation of 200 million, after winning a case against the president, in a ruling delivered by court on Thursday. According to Justice Ekubi, presenting his judgment on this case, Mokaya was acquitted the criminal charges of publishing false information against Ruto, after he allegedly posted a manipulated image on his X account, depicting President Ruto's funeral procession in November last year but one.
Having excluded the unlawfully obtained evidence and finding no independent proof linking the accused person to the impunged publication, this court finds that the prosecution has failed to discharge the burden of proof beyond any reasonable doubt. Accordingly, the accused person is hereby acquitted under Section 215 of the CPC.
According to the ruling by the senior magistrate, Honorable Ben Mark Ekubi, Mokaya had no case to answer, citing a lack of sufficient evidence to prove any defamation to President Ruto from the side of prosecution. Mokaya's legal team, led by Danstan Omari, argued on the fault of the prosecution who failed to provide forensic, or either a documentary proof whether the devices seized from Mokaya were really used to post the alleged defamatory content.
Indeed, the investigating officer in his evidence conceded to the same. Even the witness from Safaricom, who was PW5, conceded he had extracted the accused person's personal data and shared with the DCI officers without any formal court order.
The judgment today has affirmed as being a state-captured investigation whereby the investigators in this country took it upon themselves to conduct illegal investigations.
The image in question was actually posted on X, showing a casket draped in a Kenyan flag, which Mokaya maintained was a satirical commentary, but not misleading the public into believing that the president had died. Throughout his trial before court, the Law Society of Kenya questioned on the reason why President Ruto was not called as a witness to testify if his reputation had indeed been damaged as the key victim of the alleged false information.
Leaving the State House, accompanied by the military. He had been charged in the year 2024, and as of yesterday, the 19th of February 2026, the judgment gave a ruling wherein our client was acquitted under Section 215 of the Criminal Procedure Code. And what the court noted is that there was an aggressive derogation of constitutional rights of our client because he was subjected to a process of the law without due regard to procedure and without due regard to his constitutional rights.
However, having won the court case against Ruto, Mokaya is now demanding a compulsory monetary compensation of an amount not less than 200 million, whereby he filed a lawsuit against Safaricom for an alleged breach of the Data Protection Act.
Safaricom writing, we acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 19th February 2026. Having reviewed the judgment made on the 19th February 2026, Safaricom does not admit and expressly denies any liability as alleged. We draw your attention to the fact that the trial court made no binding determination of civil liability against Safaricom. Further, we are of the view that observations in the judgment concerning investigative practices cannot be construed as imposing strict constitutional liability on a telecommunications provider acting in compliance with formal requests from law enforcement agencies. Any suggestion to the contrary is misconceived. With this in mind, your ultimatum requiring Safaricom to accept liability and offer compensation within 48 hours, including the asserted figure of Kenya shillings 200 million, is unequivocally rejected. This response has comprehensively addressed your concerns, and any litigation will be vigorously and robustly defended. Yours faithfully, Wangeshi Gishuki, Head of Department Legal Services for Safaricom PLC.
Through his lawyers led by Danstan Omari, Mokaya accused Safaricom for infringing his personal private data, without a valid court order. He is now seeking a payment for damages following this breach, arguing that the release of his private information was unlawful and unconstitutional. Thank you and keep on subscribing.